Is the earth flat? That's the question for today. I see a lot of people still debating this, and I just wanted to kind of offer a different perspective on this argument, okay? Um, I think, now I mean this with all respect to both sides, okay? So just want to offer my enlightenment here. So, the earth, for those of you that believe that the earth is flat, um, let's use the symbols to figure that out. You see, that argument came from a very ancient image that was depicting the veil of our reality, and people kind of misunderstood it as a reason to think that the earth is flat. I mean, there used to be sailors that literally thought the earth was flat. And now people are using the argument of Antarctica and, stuff like that. It's just more stuff to keep us confused. So today we're going to use the alchemical symbol for Earth. Okay? So alchemical symbol for Earth. This is us. This is where we are. And a lot of people think that we live on a flat Earth. And so some of us, there are a lot of people out there who wonder, well, why would God create a flat Earth, right? So let's kind of debunk this or investigate this a little bit. So, since we've been born on this earth, planted on this earth as a seed and born and grew up, we were told since we were a child what the rules of this life are. You go to church, this is what science is, this is what reality is, and there are no such thing as monsters and aliens and ghosts and all that stuff. So we were told to think inside of this box. But over time, while we were told to think inside this box, the society and world around us has gotten darker and darker. And some of us have fallen deep down these rabbit holes. Deep down these rabbit holes that led us into a dark space, whether that was drugs, alcohol, porn addiction, conspiracy theories, karmic relationships, whatever. They lead us down these rabbit holes that kind of take us in a direction that we don't need to go. And if we're blessed enough, lucky enough, strong enough, and have the opportunity to actually recognize that we've hit rock bottom, that we are sitting here in darkness, we look up and we see the light. And we realize that we don't want to stay in this darkness. So we say to ourselves, I am getting the heck out of here. And so now we're back where we were. We're back to where we started. And we feel like we're back in reality now. Like, okay, things are better. I'm seeing things differently now. I'm seeing things, clearer now. And then you realize, like, wait a minute. When when you look around and you start looking at the things that we were told and how we were supposed to think, and if you remember today's science, and I'm talking about today's science tells us that these are the laws of the universe. And so when people like Neil deGrasse Tyson explain the universe to us, he's using the fundamental laws of science that he was taught, and he uses that to understand the universe. And there's nothing wrong with that because he's using what he was given. But those of us who have actually experienced and recognized that we were in darkness and realized that while we were here, it took an elevated perspective, elevated thinking to get us out of that lower material state. So we look around and realize we've outgrown this box of thinking, and we need to continue to look up for more light. So what does that mean? Well, some of us have grown sick and tired of living in this lower perspective and want to elevate our consciousness some more because we've grown. I am tired of this material reality, and I want to live a spiritual reality. So now we elevate our consciousness again. And as we realize that we have outgrown this reality, So does our conscience. And so now, how did this happen? Because we started looking at our reality and realizing that I no longer align with this. I no longer align with that. I no longer align with this way of thinking. I'm choosing to live in love and live in a higher perspective, a higher state of being. I'm choosing not to approach things with anger, with physical reactions. I'm choosing to live in love and light. This is a little bit uneven. And people who look at us and see that, we're choosing a different way, they look at us and say, look at that butthead. Look at that butthead. Yeah, he's a butthead. He's stupid. Those type of people like to insult you because they don't have anything else to say because they see that you've elevated your consciousness. And so that's okay because you've outgrown your perspective and your way of thinking. And now, as you continue to do that, you're realizing that you are the master of your own reality and that what you do forms not only what happens in the events in your life, but it's also reshaping your mind. And now things are becoming more clear. You're not just the being that you see when you look in the mirror. You know that you are also connected to everything around you. You know that the way you think can transform your physical body because you feel better. You're not stressed out. Your headaches have stopped. You're eating better. You've quit the things that have kept you down. And now you're stepping into your royal self. And know this, while you're embodied as a human here, you are only a man or a woman while you're in body. So we choose a sex before we get here, a gender. We choose a gender before we get here. And so when we're not embodied, we are a non-binary light being. Now, I'm not trying to get into the whole politics of that, but I'm not saying that I'm non-binary. No. While I'm here, I am a man. I'm saying that when we are not in body, we are everything. We are both one. It's hard to explain, in English words, but that's what I'm trying to say. But while we are here, we are royal beings. And what Leonardo da Vinci was trying to tell us is that we are multi-dimensional beings that exist in multiple time and space at the same time. And when you've reached this understanding, you are now sitting on your throne. You are now sitting on your throne because now, while you're in body, you realize your royal potential, your royal self, and realize that you are the consciousness of this earth. And not just that, your life force comes from, this is ancient Egyptian knowledge now. They didn't worship the sun. They knew that their power, their life force came from the sun, and that the sun rotated around the earth on different wheeled cycles that would go this way, and those cycles would go this way and this way. And this way, especially this way, this is the science, okay? So people that look at these maps that show the Earth, from this perspective, and they're looking at it like it's just a flat planet, are seeing it from a higher point of view, but don't understand that they're actually looking at it from an elevated state, not because it's flat, but because when those maps were created, they were created from a higher perspective. Okay? A higher perspective. So, what does that mean? It means that not only is the Earth not flat, but it explains the science about the rotation of the stars, the sun, the moon, and that our consciousness just needs to be elevated for us to understand that perspective. And when you do that, now, when the flood of chaos comes to destroy our earth, we are already on the ark. We are already on the ark. You see, a lot of these images, these stories from the ancient Bibles and the text, the Torah, all that stuff, it comes from ancient stone stories that they decoded and they keep digging up and finding. And it was translated onto paper. And, you've got these ancient religions. I wouldn't say ancient, I'd say new age, old religions run by old people that are trying to keep an old way. And honestly, what's really happening is they're just confusing us with all of these stories, letting these conspiracy theories run wild when the truth has been right in front of us this whole time. Okay? No matter what part of the earth you reside on, you are told a different version of God to believe in. So if you lived in the Middle East, you would believe in Allah. If you come from the Western civilization, you Jesus or God. But when you come to this understanding on your own, you realize that you are all of the above and below. And you are just projecting your consciousness here as 8 billion different people with the help of the divine feminine. The divine masculine is one, Mary giving the virgin birth to the Son of God, who was later crucified. And we all know how that story went, but that happened in so many different ways. It was depicted in so many different ways. I don't know if I have enough room to even try to show it to you, but because of these false stories that were told to us, we live in a false reality where now people are worshiping death. Notice the skull. Christ consciousness. was crucified. And our, I would say, I think I've said this before, our pineal gland was turned to stone. And only King Arthur, the righteous one, can remove that sword from that stone. Yeah, these tales are told in so many different ways. So many different ways. Because we are living in a prison, a walled prison, telling us to live and think inside of this box. And you know what type of people they keep beneath the boat in shackles, behind bars and shackles? Slaves. That's who they like to keep beneath that boat. So when the Mayflower, Christopher Columbus and the Mayflower sailed to a land that already had people there, they had slaves under that boat as well. So for all of the Masons that are so proud to wear those symbols, understand that those symbols came from a land that taught them those symbols. And that land is what we now call Egypt. So who are the slaves today? Who are the slaves today? The slaves today are the people that are told to think inside of this box. And if you even dare elevate your consciousness and think outside of the box, you're demonized. You are demonized and told that you are the devil. You are the dummy. You are called the Satan. That's not true. It's just not true. We are all what I like to call rock stars. We are all rock stars. And it's your choice to decide to accept reality for what was told and what was spoon fed to you. What was spoon fed to you, okay? If you want to continue to accept what is being fed to you as truth, then fine, go right ahead. No problem at all. But if you want to find the truth yourself, it's going to take you to elevate your consciousness and do that. And if the more you continue to look up and rise above the chaos and the darkness, the more you will see from a higher perspective. So no, the earth is not flat. It's just the perspective, our consciousness. That's what's flat. We just need to expand our consciousness some more, and it will light a flame. And eventually, we'll sail towards calmer waters. Just like when the Mayflower did when they broke away from the church in England. That's my esoteric lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed it. So to answer your question, no, the earth is not flat. Our consciousness is, and the very people that are keeping our consciousness flat are the ones who put this symbol on the money. The ones who wear this apron in their ceremonies. The ones who tell you to pray to these vengeful, wrathful gods. The ones who demonize you and feed you the BS and tell you to continue to stay here. Don't elevate here. Think about it. Reflect on what I'm saying. Thank you. Flame on to infinity and beyond. I love you all.